Hey guys, it is MissSimReno. If you are returning to the channel, welcome back. And if you're brand new, I'm very excited that you decided to join me here today for another speed build. And today we are building a big old farmhouse. I was going to call this like the big red farmhouse, a big family farmhouse, but to be fair, it's really not for that large of a family. It's a really big house, it seems. Like there's a lot of space here. There's a lot of rooms that could be turned into additional bedrooms if you wanted a larger family here, but I built it for a family of, I believe, 5. I think there's 2 children, a toddler, and then the 2 parents. But I was looking at Pinterest, as I always do, for inspiration, and I just wanted to build something red, to be totally honest with you. I don't use the red siding that much at all. The only time that I've done that is if I am creating a barn, which prior to cottage living, they were kind of useless, I think. I don't know, that's not really fair. They weren't really useless. You could put a lot of outdoor activities in there if you wanted to, but I don't build barns very often because they can feel very repetitive to me, but I wanted to use the red siding really, really badly. I wanted to use it. I was just feeling the urge, and I thought it would go really, really nicely with these cats and dogs windows, and then that just led me to Brindleton Bay. So here we are. This is where I think the park was. I think it's the Pupperstone Park, or whatever it's called. I can't really remember, but this is where the dog park is by default when you load into Brindleton Bay if you have cats and dogs. And I bulldozed the whole thing and just started trying to create something that, I don't know, I'm not going to say that looks unique because a lot of my homes, to me at least, you guys have always told me they don't, but to me, they start looking very, very similar. But I wanted to kind of like off-center the front door here. The stairs aren't at the front, they're off to the side. Like I tried a few different things here and there just to make it a little bit different. And there are a lot of porches on this home because I wanted it to be farmhouse-esque. But this was actually filmed. You're probably going to hear this for at least 1 or 2 other builds, I promise. I'm trying to get them all out of my archive because I completely forgot to share like literally 5 to 6 builds, like 5 or 6 builds at this point. This was from July. July 3rd to be exact is when I kind of started filming this. I think I finished it on July 4th. And this was, again, roughly around the time that we had just gotten Dream Home Decorator, and I used a lot of that heavily in this build, but it's not a very contemporary interior. At least not in my opinion. I actually used a lot of the Paranormal Stuff Pack furniture too, which was really nice. I love the stuff from the Paranormal Stuff Pack, but I don't use it very often because I think it is very themed. However, I think I found a way to use it in this house, so hopefully you guys enjoy it, but you can see that we are working on the landscaping. Since this lot was so big, I felt like I had a really great opportunity to kind of go a little bit more crazy with the landscaping. I didn't make it chaotic or not manicured or anything like that, but it felt a little bit more country, I suppose. Now, this lot is kind of in, I think this is called Sable Square. I always forget the names of the neighborhoods, but I believe that this is Sable Square in Brindleton Bay. If I am wrong, so be it. But this isn't exactly kind of like off in the woods, if you know what I mean. It's kind of in the midst of a neighborhood, but I just wanted it to be a little bit rustic. And I just had so much space to fill that I think the landscaping may have been a little bit too exciting for me. I don't know. You guys can be the judge of that, but it is pretty much coming together at this point. And you can see I have a lot of the lot to continue to fill, and I had no idea what to do. So I ended up just moving on to the interior, which was really challenging to floor plan just because of all of the little jutting out pieces. I was tempted to just make a bunch of different square rooms, and I mean, to be fair, that is what I did, but I don't know. I liked the floor plan. The living room was a little bit smaller than I was anticipating, but I think it works for the size family that I had in mind. Of course, if you had more Sims in here, you might make adjustments, and that is totally fine. It goes without saying that you guys can download my builds from the gallery and do whatever the heck you want with them in regards to like redoing them or swapping things out, adding more bedrooms, whatever the case is. But I went with a very light color scheme in this build, and it brought me so much joy. I really, really, really liked it. Again, using these Parenthood wallpapers, they are, in my opinion, some of the best that we have. And I think it's because I love the paneling. I love the paneling, and we don't have really any others that are this simplistic, that aren't particularly themed, and that give us neutral colors to kind of blend with a ton of different things. I don't know if you guys will agree, but that's kind of my opinion on it, which is why I use them so much, because I feel like if I use a very particular paint color on the walls, and when it doesn't have that paneling, it doesn't break apart the room in a way that I enjoy. Does this make sense to you guys? Just sound off in the comments if it does or does not. But that is why I use the Parenthood wallpapers so much. But you can see that the living room is coming together. I absolutely adored the soft greens, the blues. Again, tying in that Parenthood furniture was so fun for me. And this set the tone for the rest of the build as well. I was ecstatic to be able to use those chairs from the Paranormal Stuff Pack because it felt like the first time using them in a very, very long time. I think the last time I used them was in, I could be wrong, but I think it was my Louisiana, haunted Louisiana estate, which I did when the pack came out. I haven't used them in a very, very long time because they're very eclectic, in my opinion. They are very vibrant and sometimes they can overpower a room depending on what you're going for. So it's usually why I kind of pull away from them, but here I thought they worked perfectly. And non sequitur, I just want to put this out here. This will likely be my last build for the year. So I hope you guys enjoy it because I'm going to be taking a kind of almost 2-week break. It's like a week and a half-ish. So I think this build is going to go up on at the time of me recording this, I think it's the 20th. I can't really remember, but I want to say this is going to be going up on the 24th or 5th. I think Christmas Eve. Actually, it's going to go up on Christmas Eve. It's going to go up on the 24th. So I want to wish everyone a very happy holiday. I haven't done that in a voiceover this entire month, which is just an atrocity because I know Hanukkah has already passed and there are a few other holidays that have come and gone already. So I just want to say happy holidays all around. I have not really been festive on the channel this year, and I want to apologize for that. I just wasn't in the mood really. I don't know where it was coming from. I'm very excited for Christmas. It's probably one of my favorite holidays, but I wasn't brainstorming a bunch of holiday-esque builds, and I kind of feel guilty about it. But hopefully next year I kind of get in the swing of things a little bit better around the holiday season because I love celebrating the holidays. But this is not a themed build, as you know, but I want to say happy holidays. I can't wait for next year. I have so many things planned. I have a big announcement coming in January. I don't know exactly when, but I have a big announcement coming in January, and I am just thrilled to continue doing what I'm doing with you guys because you guys make it worth it. It's really, really fun to do this with you. So I just want to say thank you. There's also going to be one more video though that is not a build. That is just from me to you. And I hope you like it because I'm probably going to cry as I make it. I'm literally almost tearing up now. But anyway, you can see that we are in the kitchen and we are doing a combined kitchen and dining space. I do keep this rectangular dining table compared to the round one because I thought the round one was going to be blocking your Sims routing abilities, around all the furniture. It probably would have been fine and you can test it out if you want to, but I liked the rectangular table and I loved using these chairs from Jungle Adventure that I haven't used in a very, very long time. I just don't use them and I don't know why. Maybe because a lot of the other colored swatches are very, very, very vibrant. That was almost a tongue twister for me. And this build was not very vibrant, so I was a little bit worried, but the yellow is muted just enough that it blends so nicely in my opinion. And then I also used the separated stove and oven from Dream Home Decorator, which I really just did because at the time it was kind of a novelty. I was excited to have those items separated, but you don't really have to do that. You could just do a stove and oven combo, which sounds weird to say, and it would actually clear up. No, actually, it kind of wouldn't. It wouldn't add anything extra. I was going to say it would clear up a counter space for you, but it really wouldn't. It would just kind of swap one. So I guess it doesn't really matter. But the kitchen is pretty much coming together. I didn't go too crazy with the clutter, but I did add a few details like these bags of coffee beans. And the kitchen is very open to the dining space, which I really enjoyed. There's also a little nook kind of off to the right that I believe I put a console table and a few different decorations, maybe a shelving unit, because I had no idea what to do with the space. I had no clue. I was thinking maybe I could make it a space for children's activities, but that felt very out of place with this being the kitchen and dining. So I kind of just leave it open. Like I said, I add a console table here, but I use this one from Seasons because there are some stored plates and things. I add a couple of candles, maybe a few other decorative items that I thought would be fitting. And this piece of artwork from Dream Home Decorator, admittedly, I use this far more often than I ever anticipated. I really didn't think I was going to use it that much because I've mentioned this before. I'm not very big into contemporary decor, or at least that's how I felt previously, but I'm starting to really come around to it and I think I really like it. So that painting has become a staple in a lot of my builds, and I'll try not to overuse it too much, but here is where the stairs are to take you up to the second floor. It is kind of off the living room, so it's a little bit off-centered to the entryway, but there's also this little tiny room off of this hallway area that I believe I turn into a small office. Now, it's a little bit cramped, admittedly. It is cramped. I think there is a computer there and a chess table, so maybe one of the parents kind of sneaks away to their office to do work. Maybe they work from home. I'm not really sure. I didn't think about their careers or personalities too much, but here we are decorating the entryway, very plainly decorated. I did add this ottoman, thinking that it was kind of nice to use that outside of a bedroom. I typically put ottomans at the end of beds, like at the feet of the bed, but I thought it was really nice to add one here in the entryway as kind of a place to sit down, take your shoes off, or put your shoes on, whatever the case is. And then there's a console table here with a shoe rack underneath as well. So basically the hub where you can just like take your shoes off because we don't want to track a lot of mud and dirt throughout the house, right? That's the thought. And here is going to be that little office that I mentioned earlier. So like I mentioned, there is the computer desk and then there's also a chess table, but it is tiny. So if you wanted to turn this into an additional bathroom, that could be a great idea. If you wanted it to be a nursery, though of course it would be the only bedroom on the first floor, which might be a little bit odd, you could play around with it. You could turn it into whatever you'd like, or you can keep it exactly as is. Whatever floats your boat. But here's the chess table. There is a bookcase in here, a lamp, and then I added this little corkboard just with a few other decorations, just trying to fill up the blank wall space, which I always have the urge to do, but I think in smaller spaces it makes a huge difference because it actually makes them feel smaller. So I'll put that out there. For me, it makes them feel smaller, but in a way that makes them feel cozy. Now back here, I was going to make this into a bedroom. I was even thinking of the potential of like a kid's room, maybe a guest bedroom, because I added that closet there. But as I started to decorate it, I was just like, no, I want to put all the bedrooms upstairs. I need to turn this into something else. Let's try to make this build a little bit different by maybe placing some activities in here as well. I already had the office, so I did swap out the door with an archway and I added the Don't Wake the Llama table and an aquarium in that weird little nook that I didn't know what to do with. There's also an armchair in here as well with the, what am I trying to say? With like a little side table. Woo, I've already had my coffee and now I'm starting to lose my train of thought, so we'll get through it. We'll get through this voiceover, I promise. But that room is pretty much done at this point. And then this is going to be the way that your Sims can get onto any of the porches. So the back porch and the side porch. I was trying to use that shelf from Cats and Dogs, but it just seemed a little bit too big for that space. So I tried to find a few different clutter items and I didn't over decorate. And then we head on to the second floor where all of the bedrooms are. And I believe there are 2 bathrooms up here. Now that I think about it, did I even put a bathroom downstairs? Is that embarrassing? Did I not put one downstairs? Oh my gosh, you guys, I didn't put a bathroom downstairs. I always at least put a half bath or even a full bathroom downstairs, so that's kind of super embarrassing, but at least there are 2 bathrooms upstairs. One of them is pretty much dedicated as the kids' bathroom, and the other is a ensuite to the master bedroom, which is a very odd shape. Both the bathroom and the bedroom, very odd shapes. I admittedly struggled with the floor plan upstairs, and in retrospect, I likely would have made some of the hallways a little bit smaller, but with the window placements, it made it difficult. And I know people approach things different ways, so I'm going to ask you guys, how do you approach building? Because for me, I have to have the exterior looking realistic and good, in my opinion, before I can even move on to the interior and start thinking about a floor plan. But then there are other people who like map out their floor plans first, and really just go off of that and pull the exterior together somehow. I can't do it that way. I have to do the exterior first and then work with whatever that structure is to the best of my ability. I'm curious as to how you guys approach that, because it's such an interesting process and everyone looks at it in so many different ways, and people still come up with like such unique, incredible things. So I'd be very curious, but you can see that we are trying to work out the bedrooms, the bathrooms. I decorated that landing space very, very quickly because it is very plainly decorated. And this is going to be the little nursery. So this is for the toddler. Originally, I was thinking of potentially making it for a baby, but truthfully, I think at the time I had a default replacement for the crib and I didn't want it to be flagged as having custom content, because then our console players would not be able to find it in the gallery, which would be awful. And it could just cause issues, and I don't want anyone to think that I'm using custom content when I'm not. So I made it a toddler room and I really liked it. It is very cute. I kind of went with an earthy color scheme. I'd call it earthy because I use like this brown patterned wallpaper and then these kind of soft woodland greens that I think matched the curtains that I use downstairs really nicely, but I wanted this to be even more muted and soft, so I used these curtains from Parenthood, these sheer curtains. I made a faux changing table with an ottoman and a wardrobe, and there really isn't too much else in the toddler room. There's just the little toddler blocks and I think one or two other toys, but that's pretty much it. Maybe a few other decorations. I do remember, if I don't do it on camera, I do remember to put a toddler potty in the kids' bathroom. It's very, very important. But you'll probably also notice that I don't add a lot of high chairs when I have toddlers in game, because for me, I don't know about you guys, but for me, the toddlers never stay in the high chair. I did just see that someone came out with a very, very small mod that would disable pickup when a toddler is in the high chair, which I cannot wait to put in my game for my own gameplay, for like my off-camera household that I'm playing, and for any other time in a Let's Play if there's ever a toddler. I'm gonna need that mod because I despise when my Sims put the freaking toddler in the high chair. They're literally just like reaching into their back pocket, as they do, for the toddler meal, and then the toddler's like, pick me up, and it cancels out everything and they take the toddler out. It drives me nuts. I can't stand it. But this is going to be the children's room, and now these children, they don't have bunk beds, though at the time I believe we did have them. I chose not to use them. I decided to make that a point because it was a big enough room that I decided to just include the 2 beds. And they have these little shelves with a few stuffed animals. I rarely use those shelves from Nifty Knitting, so I was kind of really excited to use them here. I added a desk so they do have a place to do their homework or write in a journal, anything like that. I usually don't give kids computers, so you can of course add one if you'd like. I added a few backpacks and other kid decorations like that bucket of toys, the little armchairs. You saw a brief loading screen as I accidentally exited out of the lot. They also have one single wardrobe that I believe that they share, and then I just added a ton of posters and things to make it look very, very youthful. But I thought it was a really cute room, and they had a lot of space for activities, which is always what you want. Look at all the room for activities. Of course, bunk beds allow that too, but I thought it was a really cute space and it looks really personalized in my opinion. And then I think we end up moving on to the parents' rooms. The more I think about it, I'm not sure. I could prove myself wrong in 2 seconds, but I'm not sure that I actually recorded the bathrooms because this build took a really long time. I think I cut off some footage as well. It was upwards of like 40 minutes before I did some cutbacks, and now we're at a little over 25 minutes for the entire build. It was a long one. It was a really big one. It took me a long time, but this is the parents' room. As I mentioned earlier, it's kind of an odd shape, but I believe I made it work because they have access to their ensuite bathroom over there. They have this cute little nook with that really cool window from Cats and Dogs, which is where their bed is. They've got a wardrobe, and I was able to squeeze in a vanity, which I love being able to include if I have the space and it makes sense. But it's a very plainly decorated room. I loved this rug from, I believe, Cats and Dogs as well. I believe it's one of the like really, really big rugs, but I always size it down because I feel, even though we have a lot of rugs, I feel like we're lacking a lot of just neutral kind of muted pattern rugs that are designed for like medium to small sized rooms. Does anyone else agree? Because we have a lot of huge rugs that I think would be more ideal if they were a little bit smaller. I don't know. That's just my opinion. But anyway, this is going to be the ensuite bathroom. So I did end up recording this one. My apologies. It is a very long shape. It's a little bit weird, but I love being able to add these countertops, doing a double sink little area for the parents so they can each brush their teeth at the same time and not fight over the sink. They have a shower tub combo. They have a little bit of storage in this bathroom. I don't know, it just gives them space to kind of spread out a little bit more in case they were both in there at the same time, which is kind of nice because my bathrooms, when I make them in The Sims, usually only are, I think, 2x3 tiles, but I also added a toddler potty in this just in case in the middle of the night they had to help the toddler go to the bathroom, I guess. And because I wasn't quite sure what I was going to do with the other bathroom. So we'll just leave it at that. But I had a few different decorations here. And then we end up moving on to the exterior to kind of figure out the rest of the lot. And I did not decorate it. I don't know. I didn't go very, what am I trying to say? Planned? I didn't really plan it out. I added a fence, so I fenced in the whole lot. I thought that would look really nice. I added some sporadic bushes here and there. I knew I wanted there to be some activities outside. And you can see I also shifted the house over on the lot a little bit to kind of leave it off-centered, which I thought was kind of nice. I don't usually do that. I try to keep things very, very centered and symmetrical. So it was nice to kind of offset this one a bit and carry through the landscaping from the surrounding area, from the house, and adding a few different trees. And really I just decided, you know what, they're gonna have a big open space, so I add a swing set. I think I add some monkey bars. There's a fire pit with a few camp chairs, maybe some gardening plots and a few benches. I want to say there's a grill, maybe an outside dining space as well towards the back porch. Other than that, there's nothing. There's a few decorations on the porches too. I think I add some outdoor lights, a few different chairs, some of the camping chairs from Outdoor Retreat to be specific. And that's it. I really didn't want this to be over planned, really, really mapped out. I feel like they just bought this house and then they just wanted a bunch of land to do whatever the heck they wanted with. They could build a greenhouse if they want. They could build a barn. They could have activities for the kids out there. They could simply just have a giant yard for maybe a dog in the future. I kind of left it open for you guys to decide what you would like to add depending on the family you have in here. But this is pretty much it for the build. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. As a reminder, this is my last build for the year. Please have a wonderful and safe holiday, a very happy new year, and I will see you all in 2022. And I'll talk to you soon. Bye.
The type that eclipsed the room. I was the one who arrived too soon, but no one would ever bet against us if they saw us exchanging glances. I was too busy to fall in love. You were too busy to break my heart. Nobody else was there to stop us. Nobody else was there to warn us. Now we go on and on with this poor love song we've been working on far too long, baby. Do you still remember when our hearts tuned up spontaneously? On and on like a marathon, we keep running from fighting for something. Something to remind us that we're better than this poor love song. Too busy watching the TV screen. Now we're just better